Hello and welcome to review capsule number 4. This is part 4 in chapter 1. So we begin with the workers who started to join forces to demand better working conditions. So in 1872, a federal law legalized unions. So what types of organizations protected workers? Pause the video, please, for I will give the answer soon. Okay, so the answer is unions. Many students write the Knights of Labor, and that is incorrect. That is an example of a union. So unions protected workers' rights. Industrialization led to a rural exodus, which is people leaving the countryside, and they were going where to find jobs? They were going to the city. So we see people leaving the countryside, rural exodus, and people going to cities, which is called urbanization. Here you can see in document 54, you see the decline of the rural population and the rise of the urban population. So pause the video if you need more time with this document. Document 55 is an example of the gap between the working class and the bourgeois. So this here on the left are the working class houses, and on the right are the bourgeois homes. Another effect of the rural exodus was people going to the United States to find jobs. So to counter the immigration to the United States, Quebec's government and the Catholic clergy introduced programs to colonize new regions. So you can pause the video and study document 58 to take note of some of the new regions that were being colonized. What demographic change is the text in the document referring to? So please pause the video. I will give the answer. So this is referring to the rural exodus of French Canadians going to the United States. Moving on. Indicate the main origin of immigration from 1868 to 1891. Pause the video. And the answer is that immigration was mainly coming from the British Isles. So you can see a lot of Scottish, Scandinavian, Irish immigration. The influence of the Catholic Church and society increased during this time, and this was known as Ultramontanism. You can see in document 61 the increase in the number of priests. So in document 64, you can pause the video and see an example of how tobogganing was seen as a little too risque for people who believed in Ultramontanism. This was due to physical contact while tobogganing. Another movement that was on the rise was the nationalism of survival, and this movement was pushed by the Catholic clergy and promoted Catholic faith, French Canadian culture, and French Canadian language. Opposing Ultramontanism is anti-clericalism. So anti-clericalism opposed Ultramontanism and advocated freedom of thought. Is the document an example of Ultramontanism or anti-clericalism? Please pause the video and I will give the answer shortly. All right, so this is an example of anti-clericalism. They are denouncing the church's position. So at the time, most jobs that women had were as a teacher or a factory worker. A number of women decided to be nuns as well, and women started to demand the right to vote and to attend higher education. And that is your summary of part 4, all basically social changes. So you can pause the video, make sure you have all of the information you need before we start our practice questions. So, what demographic phenomenon is evident in document 10? Please pause the video. And as you can see at the top, document 10 is rural population, and we see the decrease. So this is the rural exodus. What was the main job for women during this period? You can pause the video. And the answer is as a teacher. Which one relates to the nationalism of survival? So you need to look at where it says language and study 2 documents, and then choose which one represents nationalism of survival. And then you need to look at way of life and choose which one represents nationalism of survival. Pause the video. And nationalism of survival promotes French language, so it's this one on the left. And nationalism of survival promotes a rural way of life, agriculturalism. Therefore, this one on the right is nationalism of survival. All right, that is all for today. See you next time.